The Sneha Arts is one of the leading art galleries in South India, and Dr. Snehalata Prasad is the director and the art collector. And every year, Sneha Arts does a lot of events related to art, and this is one of the initiatives. And today, we are honored to have most eminent artist Jiten Hazarika ji joining us today. And the coincidence is today is Army Day, and he is one of the veterans who is retired. He's taken a premature retirement from army as a colonel, and then taken a passion as a full time artist. So बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है सर आपको ये शो में देखने के लिए. So thanks for joining in.
Well, good evening to everybody. Dr. Sneha, then Ravi Shankar, and all the friends who are listening to this art talk. Well, today is the Army Day. Of course, I was an Army man. I'm a retired colonel. So, in fact, on a good day, we are starting, this discussion. I think I'm very happy that, this day will be a memorable day again, because on this day, we had the art talk with Sneha Art Gallery. I mean, the Sneha Arts.
Yeah.
Well, this is wonderful to talk about, actually. Thank you, everybody. And let us now, I think Ravi Shankar will be comparing the whole show. Probably he will be steering the whole show. We'll go wherever he takes us. That's all. It will be probably like that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, how was your journey? आपकी ये childhood memories कैसी थी? Where were you born? Were you born in an artist background, or was it vice versa?
Well, if you're asking childhood memories, it is something like this, at Blue. The childhood is always a very memorable period for everybody, I tell you. In grammar, we read something like this, the past tense, I mean the present tense, past perfect, that kind of a thing. We just, studied in grammar, if you remember. The present is always tense, actually. It's full of tension. And past is always probably, is a. So past is always perfect and present is always tense, So thereby our past, whatever childhood we had, it is always a memorable period for all of us. And I actually, come from Assam. I was born, brought up in a very remote village in Assam. And it is, so remote, I can tell you that it's about 20 kilometers away from a small town. And we,
Wow.
In our young days, in fact, we didn't have electricity in our village. We used to have that hurricane lamp, that kind of thing we had. And our school about 3 kilometers away from our house. So we didn't have any vehicle to go there. So we used to go, when we were very young on foot. When we become a little bit bigger, then we took that pedal cycle, that kind of a thing, But those days were so good. I still remember, actually, it gives me some kind of a nostalgic feeling, and I'm always very happy to go back even to those places and then become a young boy, small boy there, again. So it is like that. About my art, what you are talking about, I do not know. That from my very childhood, actually, I had that kind of inclination. I want to do something. Whatever assorted material I used to get, I used to just doodle around. Actually, even if I get a piece of paper, is all right. If I do not get it, probably on the walls. Whatever it is, I had been, doing some kind of a drawing. I cannot say painting those days, but. Then, as I say, my small town is so far off. I did not know anything about the art stores. I used my even mother's sindoor. I used, for
Wow.
for coloring. Even the blue which is used for washing clothes, that also I used. So, in our young days, we had something called, local dispensaries where medicines were given. Assamese, we had, the malaria cases were so rampant. So the quinine tablets were given actually free to the people. So I often go to the dispensaries. I collect those quinine tablets because it's a beautiful yellow color, and I put it in water. In about 2-3 hours time, actually, the water becomes such beautifully, beautiful. It's just something like Indian yellow color kind of a thing, So that color I use as yellow, and we put a little bit of blue ink. It becomes green. and then of course, as it is actually blue ink and red ink, which you use for our school. So I mean, that kind of colors we had, and with that, I had been doing works, and I believe very strongly that artists are born; they are not made. I never had any training for art, but yet, from my very childhood, I was so keen. You can say, it is not a hobby today. It becomes almost a, I mean, a passion for me. It's I mean, without that, without doing actually artwork, probably, I cannot survive. It's almost like that.
True. Got it. So we have some viewers who are also, watching this. So Vinay Vadera is saying, wow. And Sharad Bharadwaj is saying, hello, sir. So any friends, you have any questions while I'm asking questions, do feel free to comment and I'll ask those while Jiten sir is on live with us. So Jiten sir, how were your friends during the school days and college days? So कोई अच्छी memories है related to your school days?
Of course, school days, lot of memories are there. Those memories, I mean, probably it will be enormous quantity of memories, but I'll restrict it to, I mean, relate it to art only. See, that probably that kind of memory I'll be citing. I had a lot of friends, good friends actually. All my friends, they treated me as an artist from my very young days. In fact, some people used to call me, Vishwakarma. Why? Do you know why?
Okay.
Because any occasion, any festival, actually, the gate has to be, I mean, constructed by me. Probably the pendle has to be decorated by me, or even the theatrical performances, and all the the actors, the makeup of actors, that is to be done by GTN. So that way, everybody took me as an artist, from my very young days, and probably that inspired me also quite a lot. I can tell you one thing. That time probably I was in class 8. One teacher of mine, he saw my talents actually. Talents in a sense, I mean, I was so keen to do artwork. So he, got me a sort of a small ink bottle. That's a Chinese ink bottle.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time, actually, I used that kind of a black ink, because otherwise, normally our school, what we use is blue ink. So that beautiful ink actually, which I use, and I still feel that that is the probably biggest gift I got in my life. Again, during the same year, and when I was in class 8, my headmaster called me. He said, Jiten, this year for the Saraswati Puja, you have to make the Saraswati image. And I was really surprised, actually. No, I was wonderstruck, actually, how I'll do that. I have never done that kind of thing. I used to do a little bit of drawing, painting, that kind of, not painting exactly. As I say, my paints are all, improvised kind of a paints only, so it's not a painting. But then drawing I have been doing. But suddenly my headmaster said, you have to do the Saraswati's image. I said, sir, I don't think I'll be able to do it. He said, no, you'll do it. So I still remember that he had more confidence in me than what I used to have for myself. Anyhow, I mean, till that time, actually, I mean, the Saraswati image was purchased from that small town. And there's one person called, I still remember the name, Santosh Pal. He used to make that images for us, our school. So I went to that particular the person's workshop where he does this kind of images. For about 3-4 days, I had been continuously going, and then I saw what he was doing. And I came back home, and then I started making actually, first how to make the maquette with the thatch and straw, how to tie it and all that. Then the clay soil I collected, and then we made it. When it was installed actually on the Puja day, people were really surprised. Everybody says, "Oh, it is so beautiful. It is probably better than what Santosh Pal would have done." Well, that kind of words actually inspired me so much. And I had been doing actually, so now the art become almost an obsession for me now, well, with those blessings of my headmaster and other teachers, and inspirations from friends and everybody who appreciated my work. So that is my wealth, probably. With that, well, I'm an artist, and I work actually with the same zest and zeal today. Though I'm 84-year-old man, 84 plus, but yet I work with the same with zest and zeal, as a young man.
How did your friends react or colleagues reacted when you joined army and you still had this talent for art? So वो माहौल
My
कैसा था
join
वहाँ?
army, before joining army, I'll tell you, a few things more actually. See, I wanted to be an artist basically, when I also probably explored my own qualities. I thought I'll become an artist. And when I was in class 10, I did the matriculation exam, of course, I did very well. I was a good student as well. So after that, I thought I'll go for, art college. But my father said, no, no art college. Then I joined actually, normal college, science stream. In nowadays, actually called intermediate science, not that today's, the 12 plus and all. So I did intermediate science. I did very well. Again, I applied for the art colleges in JJ School of Arts at this time. And I got admission. And I got scholarship also from the state because they used to give 120 rupees per month scholarship because Assam didn't have art college, so any student goes for studying art actually outside the state. They used to get 120 rupees scholarship per month. I got the scholarship, went,
Wow.
joined. I was there for about you can say about month and a half. Then I had to leave that place. Do you know why? My father sent me 3 telegrams in one day. He said, come sharp, join engineering. Because I made the mistake before going there, actually, I appeared for the engineering college admission test. And I was through with good marks. So I was actually, selected for admission in the engineering college. I had to come back and join engineering. I studied engineering. I completed engineering. I did my civil engineering, of course. After that, I was working in Assam State Electricity Board as a civil engineer. I was working for 6 months. I worked, but then I didn't like it. Actually, that is the time. As you're asking me about the army, how I joined it. I'm coming to that point because that's the time actually. That the Chinese war was going on, and then Indian Army wanted some qualified engineers in Corps of Engineers. So I thought probably this is the opportunity. I must, leave this job actually because as it is in the job in the Assam State Electricity Board, I found it is a very stereotype kind of a job, and plus, very insipid. I want a more active life, so applied for army, and they called me to Allahabad for interview. I was through. Then we had to go to the military academy, Dehradun. I came there, so I was commissioned there. So that is the way I became an engineer and in Corps of Engineers in Army. And well, the artist in me, of course, that never died. Actually, it always remained there. It is there. It was there.
Got it, sir. So thanks for sharing those memories. So we have, some, compliments coming in. So Rupanjali is saying, wonderful to hear you, Jiten, my dear friend. She,
Oh yeah, I know Rupanjali. Thank you, Rupanjali. You had been asking. You are hearing this. I'm very happy.
yeah, Prem Singh ji is saying, how are you, Hazarika ji? And
It's a good friend
pleasure
of
to
ours.
see you
Yeah.
talking
Good,
to
good.
us. And Rupanji ji is asking, do ask Jiten about making idols in school days. So,
Well, idols means that Saraswati idol which I made it actually that time. But this Saraswati experience which I got that time, though it was reluctantly done in a sense because my headmaster only told me to do it, so I did it. It was not on my own. I would have probably taken that job, but I did it and I did it very well, and everybody appreciated. But that experience which I have collected at that time, that helped me subsequently. I was chief engineer in one of the projects in Great Nicobar Island.
mm,
That is called Project Yatri. It is a border projects. So I was the chief engineer there. I was the senior most officer in the entire island, and we have settled there actually about 500 what you call the retired army people actually. We have settled down, giving them about 10 acres of land. We have settled them, and we did actually a lot of work for them actually, cleaning the jungles and all. So we have settled them there. And those people, once they came to me in the afternoon about and before we have closed the office. They came to me in a group of people. They came to me and then then they told me, sir, this year we'll not be able to have our Durga Puja because Durga image is not coming from Calcutta.
oh,
The problem was actually we had two ships. One is called MV Andaman and MV Sentimental, what you call Sentinel. Two ships. One comes from Madras, other comes from Calcutta. So one ship has gone out of order, so there's only one ship that has to make two trips. For 1 month, we will not know. I will not have ship from Calcutta. So the image is not coming from Calcutta. Then I told them, I said, don't bother, I'll make it for you. But this hits, sir, no, we are not joking. I said, well, as well, I'm also not joking, my dear. I'll make it for you. But anyhow, they believed that I can do it. And I knew actually where the good clay is available, clay soil is available. With collected those things. I made actually Durga images. It is not a small, about 12 feet high, tall, actually big, big one. Actually, I made it. And well, the puja was completed. Well, as it is actually what they expected to do, they could do it because the image was there. I made it for them.
Super. So, how did your family react to you moving into art parallelly after apart from your engineering stunt and army stunt? So, उनका reaction कैसा था? बीच बीच में ताने मारते थे
My
क्या?
father was little conventional man actually, and then he was very strict also. He wanted me to be a good student only. But my mother, she was a little bit of this, she comes from a different family. So she was having inclination for art. She used to weave clothes, and she was so good. In fact, suppose there's a heap of clothes, put together, I can find out that this is the one done by my mother. She's
Okay.
that good actually, and I always, I feel proud to tell that I inherited, my this artistic quality probably mostly from my mother only. So there's the reason probably today, before starting a painting, I always, on the back of the canvas, I always write my mother's name first. My mother's name is Ma Shabitri. I write it on the back of the thing. So there is a, even now also I take a canvas. First thing I write my mother's name on the back side, and I start it. So I think that I got the artistic qualities from her. I'm always blessed by her, inspired by her. So, but my father was a little bit of strict person. He did not like, whenever we do, that kind of drawing or something, then when my father comes in, my mother will give the indication. I say, your father has come, stop it. So immediately we will close it. That's what we used to do.
Super. So we have some more compliments rolling in. Sudha Shikna Ghosh. The compliments is
Dakshina,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jitenda is a very versatile artist. He works and experiments in different mediums and materials. Okay, and she also says that it's wonderful to see you talk. Got to know many things about you. Felt really good. So, and Babita is also
Thank you,
saying,
Shikina. Thank you. You are
yeah,
online, so nice, good.
yeah. Babita Johari Saxena is saying, hello, sir. Nice to see you. Uh,
Ah, so nice, Jori. Thank
yeah.
you.
So Vinay is asking Jitenji how and when you shifted to Canvas and about your first Canvas.
That is a probably thing which I never thought. Well, do you know what is canvas? I didn't know actually. As I say, I do not know even paints actually. How the paints are available. How it is used. I only heard about one thing. When I from my native place, small place, I came to Guwahati for college after matriculation, which is about 75 miles away from my house. There's for the first time come to a bigger, the city, because my place is a village. The smallest town is about 20 kilometers away from me, and I just moved from my house 70 miles away, where the Guwahati actually. I came there,
Mhm.
and I was in the hostel, and I was. I just heard the name oil paint. I went to one shop actually, do you have got oil paints? They gave me actually, one small box that I remember the name of the box. This called guitar oil paint, Japanese paint box. So I collected that one. I brought it, but I did not know how to use it. And probably that box was there in the shop lying for a long time, and then it's so hardened actually. So with all force of mine, actually, I could squeeze out a little bit of paint. And I just could not use it because you cannot do it with the brush. How to do it? I did not know even what is linseed oil or turpentine to mix with the paint. What I did actually with my little bit of improvisation kind of a thing, improvising mind, I just purchased one small tin of white enamel paint. I put the white enamel paint, few drops of it, and then squeeze a little bit of thing, mix it, and with that kind of a thing, I started doing walks. That also again on paper only, not on canvas so far. So, but I still remember it gives kind of a smoky kind of a look, as if some kind of a fog and all. I enjoyed that small thing, what I did actually during those days. I enjoyed. But then again, the word actually, the canvas. I heard that canvas, the people used to do oil on canvas. That's what I heard actually. And how to do it, how to get the canvas. I went to that same shop. They said, "Sir, we don't keep canvas." Oh. Well, what to do? Then there's a vehicle motor shop actually. They used to make that tarpaulin covers actually on the jeeps and all. So I told the gentleman, can you give me about 2 feet by 2 feet piece of this tarpaulin? He said, "Aap kya karenge?" I said, "Well, I need it for something. 2 feet, 2 feet." He was correct to ask me also. With 2 feet by 2 feet thing, what I'll do. But anyhow, he gave me a small piece. I brought that one. And I put enamel paint on that. I did not know even something called Texas white and things like that, what is available nowadays. I put just normal white enamel paint. And on the top of that, I started doing work. Again, the method is, I did not know linseed oil and turpentine. Same, white enamel paint I used to mix, and kind of a smoky, foggy, that kind of a thing I used to make on canvas. So that is the time I switched onto canvas. Subsequently, of course, when I was in army, I was first posted in Calcutta. Mm-hmm. And there, of course, things were available. I knew many things about art material, and I had interaction with a lot of artists. In that process, I started, coming to the mainstream of artists and started, using right kind of material, and then started doing painting.
Super. So, for the friends who have not seen Jiten sir's art, okay, here is a quick video of his art collection, okay, and some of the memories in the art journey. So, here is a video. Super collection, sir. Super art. We have some more compliments rolling in. This is from Sunita Agarwal, sir. Is it because of your mother's influence, your painting have women as subjects in your painting?
Some extent, you are correct, I tell you. Women in my distinct, that is one point. But some other things also probably can be associated with. About women, actually, Gita, I read one thing actually, something like Kirti Sri Bhakshanari Nam Smiti Medha Dhriti Kshama. You know, a woman has got a lot of qualities actually. The kirti, I mean the yash, for fame actually, to maintain the fame of the family, whatever they, the kind of effort they put in. Sri, beautiful, beauty, the concept of beauty, what they used to have. Kirti Sri, Bak means, the Madhur Bani, the sweet talk. Kirti Sri Bak Sunarinam, Smiti Medha Dhiti Kshama. Smiti means, the remembering quality. Medha means, the knowledge, gyan. The Dhriti, Dharya, the tolerance, Kshama, and the quality to excuse people, that kind of, this is a quality. In Gita, actually, the Bhagavan Krishna said, actually, I myself manifest in the form of these qualities in ladies. So, ladies of these qualities are nothing but God Himself. That's what He says. I manifest myself in the form of these qualities in ladies. So, I had a lot of respect for them actually at that time, even now. So I thought probably they are much superior people actually, because when they're endowed with this kind of qualities, they are definitely. And in addition, I should say I'm a man after all. I like women. That's all.
Got
So
it. Yeah. Thanks for being very honest and transparent about this particular question. Yeah, Sunita
well,
ji, I hope he's answered your question very appropriately and very transparently. I think that's the beauty of some of the artists in the. So, Jiten, you've got art style. It's got figurative, abstract. So, can you talk more about why you chose this? What is so unique about this particular art which stands out, which made you decide that I will, do more of this?
see, I don't know actually how far I'm correct. I don't know if something is done absolutely correctly. Precisely photographic kind of a work. Then probably I feel that it becomes more illustrative kind of a work. And again, if if I make probably absolutely abstract, where head and tail cannot be made, only some feelings can come, of course. But there again, I find actually it is get restricted to only some kind of a design or that kind of some kind of a design or what I exactly say. It cannot impart probably because we always say that artwork is something like this. You see, in Sanskrit there is something like this: bhavasya rasatmika avibhyakti.
Hmm.
You know, the thoughts are when it is expressed with rasa. I mean, Rasa means, the Shringar, Karuna, Haisha, Vi, Rudra, Bhayanak, Vibhat, Adbhut, Shanta, all the Navarash. With the Rasa, actually, if you, associating with the Bhava, if you, Bhava or associated with Rasa, if you can express it, that is an art, actually. But, in abstract art, sometimes I find difficulty to find out actually which Rasa can be there out of these 9 rasas. So thereby, for me, it remains as a pattern or a design at times, not always, of course. Some abstract I love. So I thought probably if I mix both of them, and that will be probably it will speak both the things. There's one thing. Second thing, you see, ultimately the abstraction is the probably highest form of everything. Abstraction is highest form, even for a God also. Just everybody says God and God. Well, somebody makes some drawings of God in the sense Ram, Krishna, Shiva, something like that. But absolute abstraction is actually Anadi, Ananta, Nirakar, Niranjan, Abhyakta, that kind of a thing. You cannot decipher that kind of a thing. So ultimate stage is probably abstraction only. In abstraction, there is one thing. You see, it attracts the viewer to think more. What is there in it? And every time it gives a new feeling. Pratikshanam jat navatam upayati tadeva rupam ramaniyataya. Every moment it gives some new feelings actually. That kind of a quality abstract art has got. Because every time I want to see, what is this actually? Why this artist has made this? And if I make it absolute realistic, probably once you see it, you like it, it's good, very nice, good. Then thereafter you forget it. You don't look at it, Abstraction has got that kind of quality that it draws you every time to find out something new.
Okay.
So I mix both of them. Probably if you remove the figure from my work, it's an abstract work.
Okay, understood, sir. So can you talk something about the color which you use?
Color which I use, of course, is I use. I mean, you see, I use oil color only, oil on canvas. Acrylic very rarely I use. Whenever I go to some camps, that's the time I use acrylic color because it has to dry up quickly. Because in 3 days' time we have to make 2 big canvases, so we need the color which dries up quickly. That is the time I use. In camps only I use acrylic. In my own studio, I use only oil colors.
Okay.
Oil color also I find actually, Indian oil colors are fairly good. Few oil colors, of course, few colors which I find actually, the color coming from abroad, like, Winston Newton and all this, they're good. But few of them actually. But generally, oil color I use Indian colors.
Got it.
Indian camel color, actually, I use that only.
Okay. So we have few more questions. We have few more compliments coming in. This is from Prem Singh. Did civil engineering help you in the engineering of art?
See, any kind of education, any kind of knowledge, it always helps, and it helps you in building you up actually, further. Definitely, engineering helped me a lot because engineering, because we always say that drawing is the language of engineers. But those drawings were actually with scales and all this, not that So drawings, proportions, and probably symmetry, few things actually, regularity. These are the qualities which you find in even painting also. So those are the things you record in civil engineering also. So thereby it helped me. I always say, you see, any knowledge you acquire, it always helps you to build you up. And it did help me, Prem Singh ji. I don't know how far I could tell you, but one thing I can tell you, being an engineer, I had actually, as it is my young days, I used to have that quality of improvising things, and which was probably maintained or rather, developed further after doing my engineering.
Got it. सुदाक्षिणा जी सुदाक्षिणा घोष जी बोल रहे हैं कि आई हैव नोन जितेंद्र फॉर मेनी ईयर्स नाउ आई हैव लर्नड अ लॉट फ्रॉम हिम ही taught me how to sketch on a canvas. For me, he is like a father and guru. So this is a compliment.
Good. Well, I feel so happy. It's so nice. Actually, I never heard from you earlier, but through this medium, I'm hearing that you treat me as guru as well. But you call me Dada. Well, I was just so happy. Wonderful. Thank you. God bless you. I'm giving Ashirwad like a guru now.
So Sunita Agarwal ji कह रहे हैं excellent work sir, based on the video which we have showcased, gist of your art. Rupanjali ji बोल रहे हैं I'm editing and publishing finished artist monograph of Jiten Hazarika very soon, and that's how I came to know about his artwork so closely.
Yeah, so, Rupanjali Barwa is doing monogram of my works, and which will be ready soon actually, that she's been doing. And of course she herself is is an artist, art critic, and she's a good writer. She's poetess. So, well, she has got a lot of qualities, and she has taken up this job, and I'm quite happy that I think she'll do a good job on this.
Wow. So I'm feeling very jealous, Rupanjali ji, because you're so closer to seeing his work and spending time with him. So, so Anup KR Sharma ji is saying great Dada. He's complimenting, and Vinesh is asking Jiten ji, please tell us about the technique and color palettes of your adorable paintings.
Technique, of course, you see, my techniques probably maybe slightly different from normal people who are going through art institutions, because I'm a self-taught man. I used to do actually the way I like it. Something I thought, there's some texture I want to do it. How do I do it? I think about it. Actually, probably a normal brush may not be able to do it, so I improvise my brush. I cut the brush actually, the little short so that, I can push the canvas, slightly. And some rubber pieces I cut it actually. With that also I make some kind of a, the brushing effect on that also. Sometimes, I make a paper cone even, to put, oil paint with the paper cone on the canvas. So that kind of thing I improvise actually because I want a particular effect. How I get that effect? So, all sorts of things actually I used to do that. And in my young days actually I used to improvise, quite a lot of things actually. As I say, art materials are not available, immediately not available. The small town is very far off. We have a lot of cows in our house. From the calf's tail, some tuft of hair actually I used to cut and put it on a bamboo stick, like this, and then tie it. After that, pull it up and then again tie it. I used to make some brushes. Even in very young days, I used to do that. So that improvisation, even it continues today. So to get the effect, actually, I improvise my brush. I don't use the brush exactly, I purchase from the market and straight I use. I don't do that. I give the shape to my brush. And after giving the shape, I just, rub it on 00 sandpaper. I make the brush and do it. And another thing I do actually, you can see there's some layers in my works. I put, some darker layer on the canvas. Thereafter, I put the oil paint. The brighter paints. So while doing that, I leave some spots. You can, if you really closely observe it, actually there are some spots are left actually. The lower, the color underneath that peeps through. It's not superimposed. The dark color I have put it on the canvas first. That peeps through the bright color which I'll be putting subsequently. So that's the way I do it.
I couldn't even imagine that so much of science and hard work goes behind the brush, which you can just buy it from the store. But yeah, I think not having those is the mother of invention. How can you create it when you don't have things easily available across you?
Yeah, that is always, mother of invention is, that's true. You need something, you want to do something that, the internal urge is there, how to do it, and you find out a way. And I had been doing that, and well, even now also, as I say, sometimes, there's some plastic strips which are used actually for wrapping, the big packages. I even cut those pieces, cut again, make the slanting thing. I use that also, for using paints. I could have shown actually the brushes are not very close to me. I could have shown some even rubber pieces, which I have cut it. Where from I cut it? That the window sills, the door sills, there are some rubber pieces are there. I cut small pieces. Out of that, I make some rubber brush. That I use that also even to get some effect.
Super. So, which artist inspired you personally or in a professional life?
Well, I'll not be able to take the name as it is. Probably if I take one name, the other name will be probably, not that I'll be disregarding the other names. But then, my liking of artists is like this. If I like a particular work, I like the artist also. Because work and artist, I put them together. Artists actually, I should say actually, he and the artist, they're inseparable. Some good work I see, I like that, I regard like that artist also. So like that, I like many artists actually, take many names actually, Indian artist or foreign artist. And my method is actually learn from everybody, but do your own. I see them, I get inspired by, any good work. Not that particular artist, for all works, but for some good works I have seen. See, like that way, if you talk about, say, Leonardo da Vinci, his work, probably Mona Lisa is the probably very famous work. Say, Van Gogh, he's, the what you call that, the Sunflower is a very famous work. Like everybody has got all artists actually El Greco or Ruben, everybody has got one work is definitely with that work always reminds about him.
Yeah.
So
So
whatever good works I see, I immediately love that artist. I regard him. I feel he's inspiring me.
Yeah. So what do you say about this, Jiten sir? There are some artists who are like very famous. They become famous. Their work is like well respected in India and internationally. Then they fall into some controversy because of which they're across all the news for some mistake, which is like as a human being we do commit mistakes. So do you think that we should stop buying their arts? We should
No,
stop
I
recognizing
I
them,
don't
all that.
think this is. See, this kind of controversy is created by whom? Those people who do not know art. They do not know art. They are not artists. They got. I mean, they do not have slightest idea about art. They look into some kind of a mythological relations, religious relations, and then if they find something different, they immediately say, "Oh, this fellow had done this thing." I mean, mostly like this. You see, art should be seen as an art only. So then probably you may not have, because you see those famous, as you say, some famous artists have done, they have come into, when they become famous means they are good artists. So they do good work, serious works. And when they do serious work, good work, and their works are criticized in that way, who does it? I don't think any artist will do it. Artists will look at that kind of work from the art point of view only. So this kind of controversies, actually, I always feel is a creation of some kind of, you can say, people of lower strata only. I'm very, very frank about it.
Yeah, good point, sir. So we have some more questions coming in. Sunita Agarwal ji is saying, sir, your painting has a lot of drapes and interesting fabric textures. Can you please elaborate on that?
As I say, I mean, every inch of my canvas has got, I mean, that two layers. One underneath layer is darker, on the top, the brighter color. So in that process, actually, I put the brush, as I say, I cut the brush, I mean, so that I can press the brush, as I want actually onto the canvas. So if I press it more, probably it will be slightly bit lighter layer. If I put less force, I put it, it becomes with the thicker kind of a paint is left on the canvas. So that's the way some kind of texture is created. And see, as it is, canvas has got two dimensions, which we always say length and breadth. But I want to give another dimension. Actually, it's a to and fro, that ricochet kind of a thing. That I feel if I do that kind of thing, the textural effect on my canvas, it again goes deeper into the canvas, coming towards me actually as an artist. So that kind of a dimension also I get it. See, apart from those length and breadth, I get actually that dimension also with my textural effect, which I try to do it. But then which you're asking, I wish I could have probably demonstrated something, somewhere would have been much more easier to explain. Simply by talking, I don't know. Probably I may not be expressive well. Well, I don't know whether if you get any occasion someday work together or see me working, it will be explaining it probably much better way.
So some more compliments rolling in. Anup Sharma is saying we all are proud of Jitendra. He is proud of Assam. So you're setting the Assam flag very high. And Rupanjali ji is saying I'm blessed by knowing Jiten. And we have a question from Champak. He's saying how you connect yourself spiritually when you're doing your painting.
Well, spiritually, one has to be collected. You see, I'll tell you this way. What is best work? There's a from the Shilpa Shastra. There's a work actually. What is the best work about? I'll tell you the Sanskrit slok and then I'll probably explain the whole thing. He said, Vishranti Rasya Sambhoge Sa Kalana Kalamata Lyati Paramanande Yayatma Sa Kala Parakala. His meaning is Vishranti means the rest. After seeing a particular work of art, you get rest. No inquisitiveness left actually to do. You understood? It's beautiful work, very nice. But there's no inquisitiveness left in. I mean, you have understood everything. He said Sakala, that is the Kala, but Na Kalamata is not the best kind of work. You know what is best kind of work? Liyati Paramanande Yayatma. Yaya means jiska dwara the Atma is taken to the Paramatma. That means art should be soul satisfying, not simply mind satisfying. And again, if you take it this way, the beauty itself, what is beauty actually? Beauty, it is something like this, the samasta saundarya sara sannivesha parameshwara. All the beauty, if you put together, make a heap, it becomes Parameshwar, Bhagwan. It's Satyam Shivam Sundaram. You say like that. Even Rasa also. The Shingar Karuna Haishabi Rodra Bhayanak, what I said. Rasa also we said, Rasu Vaishaha. Sha means he. He is a Rasa. He is the amalgamation of all the Rasas. So thereby, through art, actually, you always go to that, you can say that cosmic force. So thereby, art leads you to the spiritualism, and art itself is meditation. I take it that way.
Good one, sir. Vishwam sir is saying great person, including having a lot of experience. I love it. And Sunita Agarwal ji is saying, sure, sir, it would be a pleasure to watch you work in your studio. So
it's wonderful. You are welcome anytime. Even during COVID time also, you can come. I work every day. So every day about 8 hours, 8 hours probably, sometimes maybe less. But 6, 7 hours regularly I work every day.
Okay. Any memories that are very close to you, which are related to a buyer, a customer, a compliment, or any critic, which you will always, which has either hurt you or which is very close to your heart, which you will always remember throughout your life?
Well, there are a lot of occasions, when you have some kind of discussion talk with buyers or art collectors or even viewers. You definitely have got a lot of experiences of that. But once I remember, I had an exhibition, solo exhibition of mine, and I was sitting in a place actually where I can see all my works, and I can see the viewers who are coming inside and going. We can see them, and so that they can also see me. If they have got any question, they can ask me. But I found one gentleman actually with a briefcase and in his hand. He came, and he was very hurriedly. He came, rushed in. I could see that. And he just went and just looked around, and then went to one painting, and he didn't stop even for 2-3 seconds. He stopped, then stayed, asked somebody actually around, who is the artist. Somebody says, that's a gentleman actually who is having the red sweater, she's putting on. I'm just giving an example. Of course, today I'm having the red sweater. Anyhow, so that is an artist. So he straight came to me. He asked me, what did he ask me? He says, what's the theme of the painting?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the man's activities actually. He came, rushed in, very hurriedly, stood actually, not 2-3 seconds, he stood in front of the painting, came back and asked me, what's the theme? I was slightly annoyed, but I could not show my annoyance. I said, well, what is the theme? I think, whatever you think, that is the theme, I say. Whatever you think, that is the theme. He said, no, you must have something. I said, see, I like this way. If you go and stand for some time and try to find out yourself something, and then come and compare your thoughts with my thoughts, then probably, it has got some meaning. You did not see. I took actually probably, about 25 days to paint. And you just did not see my work even for 3 seconds, and then came and asked me this. You see, that's why I say, no, whatever you think, probably that is the theme of the painting of mine. He was slightly bit this thing, he said, no, we must be having something, this thing. I said, see, as I say, whatever you think, that is the theme, because there is a saying in the Silpa Shastra, Akasaiva padarthasya nana rupa prakalpanam. One and the same thing, if you can think in various ways, probably that is the good quality of a painting. I probably paint a drop of a tear, which may speak, some pain. Maybe for some other, actually, he's so happy that, the tears came out through his eyes. It can happen like this. The same drop of tear can speak different stories. So you should see for some time and then come to me. Then I gave him an example. I said, see, aap kabhi मूंगफली khaya tha? He said, हाँ. The मूंगफली आपको plate में अगर आपको if somebody cleans it and gives it actually in a plate with some onions cut and all this, onion and chilies. So how do you like it? He said, I like it. But do you like that one, or when you travel in the bus or train, actually in a paper cone, actually, some fully comes, each one you just, peel it off and then take it. Which one is better? He said, oh, one which is given in the cone is better. I said, why is it better? Do you know? Because some amount of your effort is involved in it to break it and take it out and, see it is good or bad, and then put it, gulp it. So you put little effort to see it, then probably you'll find something. And then if you come to me, I'll be very happy to answer. So that kind of thing happened, sometimes. And that kind of a lot of experiences I had, of course, but probably I have to answer some other questions of yours also.
Yeah.
But again, I tell you another thing. When you say one art critic, that was in Chandigarh actually. One female art critic. She saw one of my works where there is a female form, but she was scantily dressed actually. Her, I'm very open actually. Her breast was shown fairly, openly, you can say. So that lady came and she told me that, why do you do this kind of painting?
Mm-hmm.
I said, why do you do this kind of painting? I couldn't understand. He said, no, this may not, send a good message to the society with this kind of thing. I said, well, I think, I don't know what way you think it, but I didn't think it that way as an artist. Then I told her one thing, you see, if a child sees this, probably he will, what's a breastfed child sees actually, probably he will immediately think of, taking milk from a mother. Or probably a young man, he will have probably kind of a, some kind of a erotic feelings. He may have that, quite possible. But a philosopher kind of a person or a spiritual person, he sees, he will see in a different way. He will say, well, we have got actually 9 big apertures in our entire body, Navadwar, what they call, the 9 big, nose, eyes, mouth, ears, payu, opast, there are 9 apertures are there actually. In addition, we have got actually, numerous amount of holes in our skin and the pores. Every pores, those apertures, it takes out, oozes out only dirty things, except this is the one place actually where you get the nectar to bring up the child. Then that person, of course, said, yes, you are correct. And next day I found whatever I said, exactly the same things he wrote in the newspaper. So that kind of experiences, we get sometimes.
Yeah, what an incident and a lovely message. Beside your paintings, what are the other artworks? Maybe people are not aware of, the other things which you do. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I don't know. I sometimes, as I say, I loved actually sculpture also. But then sculpture is one thing I cannot carry because I was in army. Every 2 years I'm posted from one place to another place. So thereby I cannot carry all those things. Then I started developing actually another method, some kind of a relief work which I can carry with me. So some relief work, metal relief work I used to do. I did some big works also, even for Army headquarters. I did a very big work, which has got about 150 figures in that. It's a huge big work. But I'll give you, show you 1 or 2 small samples what I used to do. I'll just I'll take it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Wow.
This is a metal relief work I have done.
So this is embossed on a metal?
No, it is not embossed. It is, metal sheets actually hammered from the backside.
Wow.
I'll show you some more works of that kind of thing.
So you basically draw first, put it behind and then hammer it accordingly. Is that
exactly? From the backside, you have to hammer it and take it out. Wow. So this is the similar kind of box. Can you see it?
Yes. Superb. This looks like more of a Egyptian.
Yeah. I did actually the development of the coins from Kori to coins actually, that kind of a thing.
Oh, superb. I also love your pony. I think that's the hairstyle I should go for pretty soon.
Oh, that is the big history. I'll tell you. You see, when I took retirement from army, and then came back, started doing painting here. I just took retirement just to do painting only. And whenever I used to meet people, actually, normally as an army officer, habit is actually, extend your hand. Hello, hello, I'm Colonel Hazarika. You say like that.
Yeah.
I'm an artist. When I say I'm an artist, they did not believe me. See, this fellow, he's probably capable of holding a gun, not the brush. So that kind of a thing they had. So they never took me very seriously. I found all artist friends of mine, they did not take me very seriously. They thought probably he's a Sunday artist. Someday occasionally he does some work. But then when I had the first exhibition, then they took me seriously. But in between, what I thought probably, seeing my the small hairs, so they always placed me as an army officer. Second thing, actually, when I say I'm Colonel Hazarika, so that Colonel word also I removed. Instead of the small hairs, I thought probably little big hairs. It is funny thing I had in my mind, so probably they will accept me as an artist. But then, when they saw my works in the first exhibition, then they took me a little seriously. That he's not a Sunday artist, he's a very serious artist. So they just started taking me that way. But then thereafter, of course, my friends, they take me as an artist. That's all. I feel very happy.
Super.
I could make some niche, in their group. So it's like that.
Okay. So we have some more questions.
I can show you one or two. The drawings actually.
Please.
Yeah. You can see some drawings, which apart from these are colored drawings. Actually, I have made it. I'll show you a few of the drawings. Probably
Okay.
These are drawings on paper. When I do not go to the canvas, then I sit down and do this kind of thing. I've done actually hundreds of them actually that I've been doing. The few I just, whatever available on the top, I just picked it up and then, these kind of things,
Okay. They're definitely beautiful. I'll definitely not ask you the question as to what it means. What is the theme? I'll never ask any artist what is the theme behind it.
Just one or two, I'll just show you, just a minute. See, these are the kind of things, I used to do, This kind of drawings I do quite a lot. And, can you see these drawings?
Yes. Beautiful.
This kind of drawings, and then one or two different kind of. There are many of them, but I'll just show you one or two. Just a minute. See this kind of drawings,
ये थोड़ा हटके है compared
Yeah,
to
it's
your
a hard guy. Because I think that what my friend Prem Singh was asking me about engineering drawing, this is of that kind of a thing, which engineering has probably influenced me to do this kind of drawing,
Yeah. Super.
So, like this actually, there are many of them actually, bunch of them. But I could show you a few of them. Apart from my normal painting, whenever I get time, or I want to do something different, I take a piece of paper and keep on scribbling. And result, of course, this kind of thing was created. That's all.
Okay, so we have another question from Vinay. I think, how much are you emotionally attached to your canvases when buyers take it away from you? When the buyers buy it and take it away from you. So what's your reaction? कैसा लगता है आपका जो you've spent so much of time, hard work, and all that, and somebody's buying it and they are about to take it off.
You feel bad actually, you feel bad actually when some good work which you love actually so much and somebody takes it. your work is beautiful, and that beauty is taken by somebody. But at the same time, the price which you get, that is also beautiful, I know. So it is an exchange of beauty only. I take it that way. So you feel bad, all right. You feel bad. But then, if a good buyer is purchasing, your work will be seen by many people. Then that is also another pleasure. You see, there's something called kirtan. I mean, when do kirtan actually. That is simply you. I mean, make some sound and recite some kind of a spiritual verses. So that kind of a thing you do. But if you do along with others, that is called sankirtan.
Right.
you know you are doing alone is kirtan, but do it with others is called sankirtan. You go alone is called gati. You go with other people it's called pragati. So you see, when work is taken by others, others are also enjoying. I mean, many people are seeing that. I take it, that kind of a sankirtan or pragati. So again, whatever the pain I get, that is compensated by this.
Superb. But lovely question, Vinay. I really loved it, and I never imagined that what artist goes through when he sells. I was always thinking that I'm sure the remuneration would be good. That's the reason it's being sold. But what emotionally the artist goes through when his art is getting parted away, I think you asked the right
It's
question.
painful.
Very nice
It is
question.
painful. It is really painful, I tell you.
Okay. Rupanjali ji is saying his sketches are awesome. Uttam Malik is saying excellent work, sir. Vinay is again saying excellent works with metallic sheets. Adeline is saying loved your work, Jiten sir. Babita is saying beautiful drawings. Which medium, sir? So drawings आपने दिखाई है. What medium did you use?
The last actually, I showed some drugs actually, which are, these are, I mean, that the black ink actually, Reeves inks actually, which I use, the German inks, so these are normal drawing. This is also, I mean, the same thing, black ink. Then I put a little bit of, the wash kind of a thing with watercolor. And, you know, these are charcoals normal.
Charcoals. Okay.
So this is the way I probably do it. And then some of them, of course, with I mean the oil color also I did it. I'll show you that also. Some drawings I did it oil color. This is the one done actually, on paper directly with oil.
Got you. Yeah. So Uttam is saying excellent paintings. Rupanjali ji is saying you will see them in our art monogram soon. Uttam Malik is again asking art medium, which you just answered. Vinay is saying love you, Jiten ji. You are a very honest artist who shared so many insights. So with this, what is the message you have for the new artist, Jiten sir? New artist, new generation, abhi ka generation.
Whether I am in a right position to send message to the artists, because today's young artists, they are so good, I can tell you, because they are exposed to a much wider world than what we used to have, that kind of exposure. So they are, the young generation, some artists they're very good at it. So I don't know what kind of advice, of course, I cannot give. But anyhow, the message, what you say, well, I read actually two beautiful sloks in Gita. Though Gita is not a book on art, it is a spiritual book. But then some slokas, they are relevant even for art also. I'll tell you the two sloks probably I'll cite here. That what is something is like this actually. Sadrisham chestati shaya prakritir jnanabanavi. Prakritim janti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Its meaning is actually Sadrisham chestati shaya prakritir jnanabanavi. Jnanaban means a wise person. He always goes by his inborn instinct. He is inspired by his inborn qualities. He does everything actually inspired by his own inborn qualities. Prakritim janti bhutani. All the living beings actually they always follow their own natural the qualities. Nigraha kim karishyati. Their imposed discipline cannot do anything. here I wanted to say that the artist should work actually influenced by his own inborn qualities, intrinsic inborn qualities. If they see some artist is doing well, selling well, and he's appreciated well, he's getting good criticism, rave criticism from art critics. So let me follow his style. No, not correct. Because one has to do things, what he's born with. That means inborn qualities. That is called prakriti, shabhab. Shabhab means shabhavati. Apna, it grows on its own. That is called shabhab. So one should follow the shabhab. That is one. Second thing I like to tell actually, again from Gita only, sahajam kuru kaunteya sadhusham apinatyajet. Sarva ramvahi dusena dhumen agni ibabrita. Its meaning is sahajam kuru kaunteya. I mean, the Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. Arjuna actually he is known as Kaunteya also. Sahajam kuru kaunteya. Hey Kaunteya, hey Arjun, you do the sahaj things. Sahaj does not mean easy. Normally we take sahaj means easy. It's not easy. Sahaj means sahaj jayate iti sahaja. Sahaj means तुम्हारा साथ जो क्वालिटी जन्म लिया था उसको सहज कहा जाता है. The qualities which are born with you, that is called sahaj. Sahajam kuru kaunteya. Hey Kaunteya, you do the sahaj things. I mean the easy things, that you can say easy. But easy means, the qualities which are born with you, that you're inspired by your, that inborn qualities. You do that kind of work. Sadhusam apinatyajet. In that kind of work, if there is some deficiency also, say deficiency remains, then also don't leave it. Not tyajet. Don't leave it. Keep doing it. If there is deficiency, some art critics or some friends comes and say, oh, no, this is not correct, this is not correct. Well, don't get discouraged. Because simile is so beautiful. He said, Sarva Rambahi Dusena Dhumen Agni Babrita. Sarva Rambahi Dusena. All the beginning actually is associated with some kind of deficiencies. All the beginnings. Anything you begin, there will be some deficiency. It is expected. Dhumen Agni Babrita. The Agni means the fire. Fire is first actually covered with smoke. And you take a small pipe and then keep on blowing and dispel the smoke. Then you see the flame, you see the light, get the heat, and everything you get it. But you have to dispel all the smoke. So even if there is some defect, some deficiency in the beginning, well, keep doing, and all the smoke will get dispelled, and you will be closer to the destination. So that is the probably message I can tell them.
Superb, sir. Thanks a lot. We have some more compliments rolling in. Uttam is saying excellent medium, different medium. And Shafiq Ahmad is saying master work by master artist. Many things to learn from you, sir. And Babita Johari is saying, I love the way you explain art via Sanskrit slokas. So this is compliments for the way you detailedly explain why what's written out there. So thanks a lot, sir, for joining us. And, thank you, wonderful friends who have asked lovely questions and, who are watching this particular show. And I would like to thank Sneha ji for, giving this opportunity where I could interact with eminent artists like you and, learn a bit about art. So,
well, thank you. No, you are an artist, I can tell you, because the way artfully you are asking questions, is wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ravi ji.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Namaskar. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, bye. God bless, bye.